Well, that's the core question. I mean, that's why it's important, I think, for Gibraltar to try. There is a cost to Gibraltar of hard Brexit. Borders that can be made as impossible as the Spanish government of the day, whoever it is, may decide to make them. That in turn has impact on our economic attractiveness as a location for business, gaming companies and many other tourist visits, the quality of life of Gibraltarian, the free flow of goods and services and people that we've all now got used to and on which our economy is increasingly based. All that would suffer to some degree, even in the hands of a favourable Spanish government. In the hands of a hostile Spanish government, it would be the sort of political weaponry that I don't need to explain to the people of Gibraltar. We've all lived it at first hand. The prize is to avoid that. Now, you don't get a valuable prize for nothing. At the very least, you've got to buy a raffle ticket if you want to win the first prize in the draw. So everything comes at a price.
Acceptable to the people of Gibraltar?
That is what remains to be seen. Obviously, the government will know, not just from their own political convictions, but because they know what the people of Gibraltar think. The government will have an idea of what Gibraltar will bear by way of price for this prize, and what it won't. People in Gibraltar have red lines. Probably most of us would draw them in more or less the same place. I think we would all find it terribly, terribly difficult, not to say impossible, to accept Spanish physical presence in Gibraltar, Spanish officials doing this or that in Gibraltar. But the Schengen Agreement and the European Union Code, and the fact that the treaty is between the European Union and the UK, does create space for that area to be the subject of agreement of the sort that the people of Gibraltar could very easily find acceptable. Not in a way that concedes nothing, because as I say, nobody gets anything of value for nothing. So certainly, given the political, the seismic change that there has been in the landscape of Europe, political landscape of Europe, and with it, our situation in it, vis-à-vis the UK and the rest of Europe, I think people have got to understand that the rules of the game have changed a little bit against us, and that we now have to contemplate things without crossing red lines that we would prefer, in an ideal world, we would prefer not to have to do at all, but actually we are sensible and we stand back and we see this is the prize, and the opposite of the prize is suffering the consequences of a hard Brexit forever. Mm-hmm. Right, at the board economic. So given the consequences of that, this really is a price worth paying, however much in an ideal world we may not enjoy it, but it doesn't cross our red lines, because it doesn't give Spain a role in Gibraltar, it doesn't give Spain any stake in our sovereignty or in the jurisdiction or in the control of Gibraltar's affairs. So, and that is the line that the government, I'm sure, is going to be steering in carefully in the next 6 months to see if an agreement can be reached that delivers a price that Gibraltar can pay. And if they fail, then so be it, but it's right to try.
And finally, Sir Peter, we've heard Sir Joe Borsano talk about the architecture of the airport and the role that could play in allowing an office that straddles the frontier to be a part of the solution. Any comments to make in respect of that?
Well, I could make lots of comments, but the one that comes to mind immediately right now is that I'd be delighted if our airport agreement concepts and the building that was delivered in order to bring it into play, it now provides a solution that assists in whatever the government is negotiating with Spain. If it does, that would be wonderful.